In this ArcMap demonstration, we're going to show how to set the snapping environment for use when editing features and layers. So to begin with, we'll have to go to the editor, and we'll choose Start Editing. Or we could go cancel there and go to a layer. We'll go to the junk layer, which is this line layer here, and I'm going to go down to Edit Features, Start Editing. I'll just ignore these warnings, and now that I have editing on here, I'm going to go to the editor here and go to Snapping and choose to open the Snapping Toolbar. So this is a snapping toolbar, and it hovers around. You can float around here. You could dock it if you wanted to, just like any other toolbar, but I find it handy to have off to the side. And here you can choose to have point snapping. It's currently on. I can click it and it'll be off. I have end snapping on, vertex snapping, and edge snapping. Again, these three are on right now, and this one off. You can just click on them to turn them on and off. Now, what point snapping is, it'll snap to any point. I have a point here. Later on I'll show you can snap to it. End snapping, again, the end of any line that's been, or arc that's been created in this case, or it could be, I guess any line. If you're drawing a polygon and you want to snap to the end of that line before you finish the polygon. Vertex snapping. Alright, vertexes are when I drew this line, any point I clicked on became a vertex. And I'm just going to, right now I'm going to choose that line and choose Edit Vertices. And so here you can see all the vertices or vertexes. Alright, so if I wanted to snap to any of them, then I would turn that on. We'll just close that. Alright, and the last one here is edge snapping. So again, if I wanted to snap to anywhere along this line, the edge of it I could, or the edge of a polygon, I could use that tool. And what snapping does for you is, when you're drawing features in a GIS, you don't want to, you wouldn't want to come in here. Let's draw a line. We'll click junk here, get the line tool here, and if I was, wanted to draw a line that started right at this line here, I definitely wouldn't want to be out here. Click. Alright, so you don't want situations where your line is overshooting the line you actually want to connect to, or you don't want to be in a situation where there's a gap left. So you want to be able to snap right to that line, to that vertex, endpoint, or edge. So with this snapping tool on, you'll see as I hover over top of things, just to the right of my cursor, there's something in text being said, but I found with this color ortho image underneath, it's difficult to see what it's saying. So if I get rid of that image, and I'm going to pull up if I get rid of that image and come in here and hover over these lines, you'll see that right now it's telling me if I was to click right now and draw a line, I'd snap to that edge of that previous line. If I hover over here, I got edge, edge, edge. I get to the point where I'm over top of I got to turn vertex snapping on. If I get to a point where there's a vertex, it tells me I can now snap to that vertex. And I've now snapped to that exact vertex. If I want to snap to end. Alright, I have that on. I can come here and it'll tell me I'm on the end point. I can snap to it. And again, I'm attached right to the end of that previous line. And if I can turn on point, and if I come to this point feature here, it tells me that I'm now, if I click, I will snap right to that point. So that's how you work with snapping, but there is another way to do it. It's the way it was done in versions previous to ArcMap 10. And to turn it on, first I'm going to get rid of this. And if I go under Editor and go to Options, I can choose this Use Classic Snapping. So it's the interface for snapping that was used previous to version 10. Click OK. And now when I go down into Editor here, under Snapping, instead of the toolbar, it offers me the snapping window. The window opens up here to the right, and all the layers are listed here, and I can choose, if I click vertex here, I'll now be able to snap to vertexes in the tramping reference points layer, or ends, or edge, and I can again choose to do that in whatever layers of data I have. And you can just click on them to remove the snapping possibilities for those layers. And to get rid of that, all we have to do is go back to Editor, Options, and choose to take Classic Snapping off. Click OK, and we're back to the new way of doing things with the snapping toolbar. And that's all I want to show you now.